Hotshot Racing upon its first look looks like a forced attempt at a throwback racing game similar to the Virtua Racing or even Ridge Racer, but once you actually start playing the game you realise they have nailed the controls, and that's one thing the games of old, as fun as they were, they didn't feel as smooth as this game. So Hotshot Racing comes at you from Curve Digital and developer Sumo Digital. This is actually running, I believe, on the same engine as the Team Sonic Racing, or the Team Sonic Racing game that came out a year or two ago, or I think it was actually just a year ago now. But obviously visuals are drastically different because this is going for the polygonal look, and it is incredibly clean looking. In some ways you could feel like this was a game that could have been released 25-30 years ago, and it's just been up-resed. But there are certain aspects of it that you just know aren't from then, and this is a brand new game. The polygonal look is way too clean to be a throwback, to be like a remaster. It's just a unique style of game that, do you know, it feels like more than most games that release, it feels like a celebration. Sumo Digital have made some incredible racing games in the past, and I think they're one of the better devs that make racing games that aren't just dedicated to them, so they're not like a Turn 10 or a Codemasters. They make other types of games, but they also, when they do a racing game, they nail it. They make a very unique handling model that feels really enjoyable even on a controller. And this just feels like a celebration to the racing games that these developers grew up loving and getting their inspiration from, and maybe one of the reasons why they're in the games industry now. And that's what I felt like playing this game. It felt like a throwback for myself when I played these games, and a nice revisiting of this style of game that made me fall in love with the genre in some ways. But it's all fresh, it's all new tracks. The tracks look cool enough. Some of them aren't that detailed, which I know it's polygonal, but some of them aren't that brimming with life, which is maybe intentional, but also, I mean, it's 2020. We kind of expect a certain spectacle when it comes to these arcade style racers. There are moving parts, like there are some levels that have fireworks going off or fairground rides, but others feel completely static, and that's something I noticed, and it's not something I would normally notice. It's just kind of become expected. But regardless, the handling model is brilliant. It's just so much fun, like just pulling yourself around those corners and drifts, and it coming out with a boost, or catching up to the racer ahead and you slipstream them and get ahead of them. The slipstreaming is incredibly powerful. It's, I would say, more powerful than the actual boosting, because you can really get a massive increase of speed out of nowhere and get ahead of your opponent. But as the game stands, there isn't a ton to it. There are 4 cups, 16 tracks, 3 different difficulty levels, and you unlock challenges, you can upgrade, you can change the look of the car, but other than that there's not a lot of customization or progress to it. In a few hours you'll be mostly done with it if you're anyway used to these types of games, or have a good grasp of racing games in general. You'll be done with it in a few hours, and after you're done, there's very little to return to, but that doesn't mean it's a game not worth playing. If you grew up with, like I said, the Virtua Racing games, these are 100% worth your time and effort. It's just a game that makes you smile if you played these games growing up, or you had an affinity for them. It's just a great celebration of these types of games.